Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjanaya Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol. यो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परवशाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य श्री लहदास ठाकुर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवदीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की कलियुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन की समवेद भक्त वृंद की all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 8, entitled Manifestation of Brahma from Vishnu. Text number 5. Swardhuni udadrai swajata kalapair. यहाँ तो फिर लिखा अलग क्यों दिख रहा है? क्या बोल दिया अलग क्यों दिख रहा है मुझे? ऐसा लेआउट नहीं तो sorry, the marker was kept on chapter 8. तद्विलोक्याब्ज संभूतो वायुना यद अधिष्ठितः पद्मम् अम्भश्च तत्काल कृतवीर्येण कंपितम्। तद्विलोक्याब्ज संभूतो वायुना यदिष्ठितः पद्मम् अम्भश्च तत्काल कृतवीर्येण कंपितम्। तद्विलोक्याम्ब संभूतो वायुना यधिष्ठितः padmam ambhascha tatkala kritaviryena kampitam tadvilokyabja Sambhuto Vayuna Yadhisthitah Tamambhascha Tatkala Kritaviryena Kampitam Tadvilokyaabja Sambhuto Vayuna Yadhisthitah Tatkala Yena Kampitam Lokyabja Sambhuto Vayuna Yadhisthitah Tatkala Kritaviryena Kampitam. Mataji's Tadvilokyabja Sambhuto Vayuna Yadhisthitah Padmambhascha Tatkala Kritaviryena Kampitam. What word meaning? Tadvilokya, looking unto that, into Abja Sambhutah, whose source of birth was a lotus. Vayuna, by the air. Yat, that. Adhisthitah, on which he was situated. Padmam, lotus. Ambaha, water. Cha, also. Tat kala krita, which was effected by eternal time. Viryena, by its inherent force. Kampitam, trembling. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thereafter, Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong, violent wind. Purport. The material world is called illusory, because it is a place of forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. Thus, one engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the material world may sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. There is a declaration of war between the two parties, the illusory energy and the devotee. And sometimes the weak devotee fall victim to the onslaught of the powerful illusory energy. Lord Brahma, however, was sufficiently strong by the causeless mercy of the Lord, and he could not be victimized by the material energy, although it gave him cause for anxiety when it managed to totter the existence of his position. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to everyone for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. And thank you for the authority for giving me this opportunity to speak something on this verse so that I can purify myself and it may help others. We will read the translation again. And earlier I announced that it was chapter 8, so now it is chapter 10, division of the creation. Translation of this particular verse 5th is, Thereafter Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong, violent wind. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport here that the material world is called illusory because it is a place of forgetfulness of the transcendental service to the Lord. So this material world is illusory. And this is due to forgetfulness of the transcendental service to the Lord. But we see in this material world, as it may be called illusory, but everything feels real. Whatever we feel, whatever we touch, smell, taste, all the five senses. So all these five senses experience the real things. It is not that this object is false, this bed is, this asana is false. I am able to touch it, I am able to feel it, so everything is real. So why it is called that this is illusory? Illusory means which is not there, which is only in the illusion. So everything is around us, and these are not imaginations. So why these are called illusory? In mental asylum, we see that everything is real. Food is real. The walls are real. The doctors are real. The caretakers are real. But the person who is inside there, who is going through treatment, he do not relate with all these things. He feels that he is something else. He is not in his original identity. He feels that he is something else. And that's why he is imagining so many things and experiencing the pain, the suffering, and the happiness also. Whatever, due to his deluded mind, he is experiencing happiness also there. It is not that only he is suffering, but that happiness is only temporary. It fades away because that is not situated in the real platform. It is in his imagination. So similarly, in this material world, all the people who are here, for them it is said that this material world is illusory because everyone is not connected with their inner soul. They are just relating every activity with their body and ignoring the fact that they are not this body, they are a spiritual soul, and that's why they are suffering and they are in this mental illusion. In this material world, person loses his money and becomes mad. Someone gets it and becomes mad. धन के मद में अंधा हो जाता है. So, same object is there. money is there, but it makes someone mad, one who is having it or one who loses it. Both gets madness. A person who is intoxicated behaves as if he is mad. He is not able to see things clearly. Everything appears like two things are there or more objects are there in the one same place. Hallucinations is there. He speaks anything. It is said in Bangla, one proverb is there, Pagal ki na bole, chhagar ki na khaye. That a madman, what he can't say, and a goat, what can't he eat. Goat is famous for eating anything, whatever is there, and climb at any top of the place. If you see in the villages, goat will climb a single wall. Sometimes any mud house is there or any construction, which is only wall is there, roof is not there. And some approaching wall is like broken wall is there, but it ends at the top of the wall, 10 feet, 20 feet heights. But the goat will reach there and will see everything. So, is that goat getting any grass there? No. But wants to get mental fulfillment that I am at the top of everyone. All other goats are not here. So that type of mental illusion is making him to reach at the top. And is he getting anything there? No. Similarly, we see in the pastime of this Nalakuvar and Manigriv, in this Damodar Lila, every day we sing this pastime, that these two sons of Kubera, they were intoxicated by the wealth of their father and the position what they were in. And in that intoxicated state was added further by drinking liquor. And they were taking bath in Mandakini Ganga, and they offended Narada Muni. So this intoxication state can leads one to commit gravest of the sins. But somehow or other, Narada Muni, after hearing when they realized that these two sons that they have committed mistakes and got cursed, so they asked for forgiveness, and Narada Muni said, okay, you will delivered by Krishna when he will uproot you, and when by his hand you will get delivered. But the duration of their suffering was too long, 1,000 celestial years. They were standing in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So when we are intoxicated, we suffer. Sometimes we suffer from time immemorial. We all are suffering. From different births, we are taking birth time and again, and we are suffering in this world, and we are not knowing how to come out of this. So in this material world, we have forgotten our relationship with Lord Krishna and the service towards him, and hence acting as a madman, and we are suffering here. And we are trying to relate to all the objects which are not going to satisfy us in a permanent basis. Whatever we are trying in this material world, we are trying to make us happy, feel happy, and we want that happiness to stay for eternity, but it never happens. It just vanishes after some times. From whatever object we try to get happiness, it never stays long, but our desire is not like that. Our desire is to enjoy for permanently. Prabhupada writes in purport that thus one engaged in the Lord's devotional service may sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. So those who are struggling here, especially it is written for sadhaka. So there is a declaration of war between the two parties, the illusory energy and the devotees. And sometimes the weak devotee fall victim to the onslaught of the powerful illusory energy. So here Prabhupada is describing, first he describes that what is this illusory world and who all are here. And in that, some persons who want to come out of this illusory world, they are sadhaka of different levels. So they are practicing. And for devotees, those who are practicing, those who are doing sadhana, they try to come out or overcome this material energy. They are practicing the rules and regulations prescribed by the scriptures, the acharyas, the current acharyas. And they And they try to situate themselves on the original position as a servant of the Lord. As in a hospital, we see that there are doctors, supporting staff, nurse, all are there. And all different persons are there in the hospitals. For what? Only one purpose is there, to get that patient discharged from the hospital. So, not to keep him there. So this is the actual purpose of the hospital. So the purpose of this material world where the persons are suffering, or the purpose of the jail is not to keep the person or the criminal there for eternity, to reform him and send him back to the society so that he can perform better. But sometimes the person has committed such a grievous sin that it is not advised him that he should go back. He should stay for life imprisonment he is given, because it is very hard to correct them. So hence, here we see in a spiritual path that, like doctors we see in hospital, they are gurus, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, devotees. They all are there to support the struggling sadhaka to us, so that we can be again reinstated in our position and we can discharge our devotional service. And for this purpose, Krishna sends his representative. Krishna doesn't want us to keep rotting in this material world. Although this is a place of suffering, and it was our desire that we abandoned Krishna and we have come here in this material world, but Krishna doesn't want us to be here. That's why he helps us in giving so many opportunities, giving so many ways, and sending so many his pure devotees, so that we can be again revived of our original position. This material world has only one purpose, that everything in this material world is meant for the purification of the conditioned soul, and every object is meant to be engaged in the service of Krishna, although it is temporary. They are not illusory, but they are temporary. But all these temporary things can be engaged in the service of Krishna, and through that action, through that service, one can achieve the permanent position. Although the objects are temporary, but the results are permanent when these objects are rendered in the service of permanent thing. That is Supreme Lord, Saswat. So all the helps will only work fully when we accept the help completely and put our own endeavor. If we don't put our own endeavor, the soul doesn't put his own endeavor fully, then it is very difficult for him to come out of this material world. Sometimes we see in the hospital that even though all the facilities are there, and person is not so critical, but he has left his desire to live in this material world. For such person to revive his life is almost impossible, because he has no desire. So if we are not having our desire to go back home, back to Godhead, whatever Krishna, how much he helps, our devotees help, we will not go ahead in a spiritual life. So it is the free will of the living entity, but he has to properly put his choice so that he can start his devotional service. In this regard, I just heard one story few days back by Uddhava Priya Prabhu, that in Govardhan Eco village, one cow was there, still there, Anandi. So she gave birth of 2 calves. Very rare that any cow gives the birth of twins. And after the delivery, the cow's organs were completely damaged. And she was not in a condition to survive. And even the veterinary doctors were saying that she will not survive. This is a very rare condition. She was not able to stand, move her body. So then, what devotee did on the advice of Maharaj, that they bring that calf, the 2 calves, and placed near that mother cow. Although she was destined to die, but seeing her 2 calves, she grew a desire to live. And devotees were taking so nice care. Even she was not able to move her head. For turning her head, devotees were required. They were continuously chanting. The yoga groups had come, they were serving. And these calves were made to place near her. They were playing, they were associating with their mother. And the mother was not able to give milk. But seeing her calf, her desire to sustain her life, she desired that her life has to be sustained. And that strong will make her survive. After 2 months of these efforts, again Anandi stood back on her legs. Now she walks freely. She roams, she plays. So only one thing was that her intense desire to live. So similarly, when we have our strong desire in Krishna consciousness, our love for Krishna, then only we will completely able to revive. If we only want to revive, but we have not a strong connection with Krishna, fully with love, then we will not be able to revive. We may go to some extent, but if we want to revive it fully, then we have to have that desire, that love with Krishna, the longing with Krishna, that I have to have this connection. Then we can go through all the challenges of this material world. Sometimes the person may be stumbled, he will fall down, but again he will bounce back. Krishna says, Prabhupada writes here in the purport, and sometimes the weak devotees fall victim to the onslaught of the powerful illusory energy. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Devi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Yeva Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. In 7th chapter, 14th verse, he is describing this, that how the material energy of his is so strong. Mama Maya Duratya, this material energy, my material energy, is Duratya, very difficult to overcome. But those who have taken shelter of me, Ma Meva Ye Prapadyante, those who have taken shelter of me, Maya Metam Tarantite, they can overcome this material world. So this is the solution. If one wants to go back home, back to God, want to cross this material world, then he has to take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise, this material energy is so strong, so fierce that he is not able to cross it. And one who has engaged in devotional service, that sadhaka may also sometime fall victim to the onslaughts of powerful energy. If one has gone to fight, it seldom happens that one comes without any harm. Like in fight, one is bound to get injury somehow or other. So similarly, in this fight of Maya, one is bound to get different attacks. But the solution is that again come back to the original position. Again start fighting. Don't keep where you are. So here we see that Prabhupada writes that Lord Brahma, however, was sufficiently strong by the causeless mercy of the Lord, and he could not be victimized by the material energy, although it gave him cause for anxiety when it managed to totter the existence of his position. So we saw that how Brahma, who was sitting on the lotus flower on the ocean, so there the lotus was shaking from the wind, and the ocean was also having huge waves by this wind, but he was able to manage. Later on the verses we will see what he did, but he was able to manage that position, and he was situated properly. So he did his penances first. When Brahma was born, he was not knowing that what is the purpose of his life, from where he has come from, and he tried with his endeavor, with his intelligence, to search the cause of his existence, but he was not able to find it. Then he heard 2 syllables, ta, pa, tap. So he did penance, and by doing this penance for 1,000 years, he did penance. And by doing this penance, he got a strength, intelligence, and now he can see the Supreme Lord, and he got instruction. So always when one performs penances, this gives a strength to the person. Although one may feel physically weak, but it gives a lot of immense of mental strength, because he is able to fight the urges of body, especially hunger, thirst, which is not a easy thing to control. We are eating 3 times a day, and to control these things is actually difficult. So we see that how in Ekadasi what happens to us. Although we are fasting, but our focus or mental position is that tomorrow I have to eat. What I have to eat? I will arrange different items so that when I will break my fast, all different delicious items will be there around us. But what happens that when after fast, or especially Nirjal fast, devotees eat so much, their stomachs most of the time get upset. So after fast, if you try to enjoy, this is the harm we get. Ayurveda suggests that when you are fasting, break your fast with light thing. Actually, it's only you have to drink dal or kanji, rice water, like that. Because your fire has completely slowed down. And if you again put so much food and fire is not there, all these things cause indigestion to your body, and this will cause impurities, and this will travel in your body and cause different disease. So you have to again revive slowly, and then that fast will help. Even in the outside world, we have seen now so many research papers are there that if you fast, your health improves. Your body develops certain bacteria are there that eats the dead cell and eats the toxins which are there in the body. But it has to be in proper way we have to do. Random fast and random doing things will otherwise harms the body. So, for this fast, if it is imposed on someone forcefully, then we see that so many disadvantages are there on the body. But when person accepts this fast, then he can survive and he can again be situated with a good health. So in torture camp and all these places, person are not given proper food, so their health decreases. But we see that on the contrast, when devotee or person who has not their devotees, they do fasting with certain, first they have defined that what they have to do in their fasting, and they do according, then their body get cleansed. In Ayurveda also, one aspect is that langham param aushadhi. Langham means fasting. That is the param aushadhi, best medicine. Because your body is not able to digest, and whatever you are eating, that is converted into ama, toxin, and that is further creating so many diseases. So Ayurveda many times suggests langham, or eat less, reduce your diet as much as you are able to digest. One person was there in Russia in the Second World War. His plane got crashed and he fell somewhere in the icy area. Complete snow was there. So, but no help was there. He crawled for almost 20 days in the wild, and he survived with one can of food he found somewhere with some dead soldier. He just eating just one morsel of that every day. And later on he reached some population. They again revived. His one leg was frozen completely due to ice. What is called? Ice bite or whatever. So that limb was completely gone, but again it was revived. And later on, he was not completely revived, but his desire was so that with that leg which was not able to function, he made some arrangements, artificial legs, and he was again flying the fighter planes. So he has determined that he had to survive. So he endured so long. Similarly, when we do our penances, we do our fasting, the purpose is there. Purpose is to please Krishna. Otherwise, these penances, even the demons do, to get a strength. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh also did penances. And the penances they did was such severe that even today's world, or after that, no one was able to do as compared to Hiranyakashipu. For 1,000 years, he is standing at one position. And from that penances, he got a strength. But what he did with all this strength, his only mission was to kill Vishnu, to kill all the devotees of the Lord, those who are serving Vishnu. So his penances led him to wrong path. In the example of we see Ambarish Maharaj, that he did penances, and after that Durvasa Muni became angry. But he remained in a humble position. He didn't retaliate back. And when Lord saw that his devotee was being attacked, his Sudarshan Chakra came to defend him. And that Sudarshan Chakra was chasing Durvasa Muni for 1 whole year. And ultimately he has to find shelter, took shelter from Ambarish Maharaj, asked forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj didn't felt any offense from Durvasa Muni. And he asked Sudarshan to go back. So we see that he was humble. He was humble. After doing his penances, he was humble. And his purpose was not to control this material, but to serve Krishna. So when we are having that mood, then we can achieve proper position in devotional service. So all these austerities will please Krishna when we are humble. If we become proud of our austerity, then all the results are destroyed. You may get a strength in this material world, but will not be able to please Krishna. We see that how Lakshmi, she was doing penances in Vrindavan so that she can get entry into the pastime of Krishna. So Krishna is not pleased with our penances. If we are humble in our life, then he get pleased. And you may sometimes not be able to do penances. Our body are not like that, everyone's body, that they can do penances too severely. But at least do the penances through our speech, through our reaction. May not be able to do hard austerity of fasting and all these things. But we should be always remain humble in the service of Krishna. Then only we will be able to surpass this material world. And we can achieve the position of love of Godhead and reinstate it again in the spiritual world. Self-fixed in devotional service. And such a person can surpass this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the position we should be always striving with our penance and all these things people are doing. Now Bhisma Panchak is going on and many devotees are doing their vrata. Kartik Vrat, many have done Chaturmas. So the purpose is not to get siddhi, fame, or some extra power which is not available in any others, but the purpose is to please Krishna, to subdue our senses a little bit and try to serve Krishna in a proper mode. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If any question or comment is there? Yes. Mic is coming.
As you shared with us the story of the cow Anandi, so I would comically ask one thing to you, that in Hindi it is said that जब दवा काम नहीं आती तो दुआ काम आती है. So from Krishna consciousness standpoint, what comment you would like to make?
Yes, here dawa was there, dua was there, and also the will of the mother cow was there. That was the most strong point in this case. Dawa and dua were there, but if the cow was not willing to live, she would not have survived. Here it was the intense desire, longing for her children that she surpassed. Although the devotees were praying. So you are saying right thing, but here some extra thing was also there. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki.